Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live. Really glad you're with us here today. And joining me in the studio there is Dr. Jill Hubbard. Hi, Jill.
Hello, Steve.
And Dr. Alice Benton. Hi, guys.
Hey, folks.
And I'm going to welcome someone else. Well, a lot of people. Pure Radio, AM 1600 in Huntington, Charleston, West Virginia. And Tom and Desiree Hoyt, well, they own Pure Radio, or operate Pure Radio, and this is the fourth new location that we've added with them, and we're so grateful for that. So all of you Charleston, West Virginia folks, hi. And our phone number, if you ever want to join us on the radio, is 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. We would love for you to come and join us, and we'd love to help out. Not that we've heard that there are big problems there or anything, but there are problems everywhere. All right. Well, so glad that you're with us here today. As you may be aware, for a gift of any amount, we're giving away Creatures of Habit by Steve Poe. And all of these creature habits are the kind of the things underneath what leads to problems. The habit of anger, or the habit of work too much. That's a bad habit that's hard to, and the just a habit of lust. And what's so great about this book, it's from a pastor, and every one of the things that's in the book he has struggled with, and he's dealt with it. Whereas a lot of books you read, you think, this guy went to Sunday school, graduated, met a woman who went to Sunday school. They got married. They've never had a problem in their life. Their children are all perfect. But here he is laying it out in realistic terms. I think you'll love it. It's a gift of any amount. And every gift you give to us, it is matched. 1-800-229-3000. If you want to join us on radio, if you'd like to talk with somebody about your situation where you need counseling or one of our intensives, well, that number is 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Jill, let's talk for a minute. You wrote the book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers, and I just was speaking with someone who has had a difficult time in forgiveness. In fact, they've had an issue, literally for over a decade.
Right.
Well, why do we hang on?
Well, I was thinking of when you were talking about creatures of habit and how, that old kind of saying that we keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different response.
Right.
And we have such an intense desire or need, I think, to resolve things, but we keep going over it and over it and over it again. And we keep actually repeating things, thinking that we're going to have a resolution. And that actually doesn't solve things. I mean, there is a need to talk and disclose, but we have to do it in the right context with safe people. And we have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And I think in the forgiveness piece, we really have, and we say this all the time, Steve, we have to grieve. We have to grieve what isn't so. And we have to stop holding on to the fantasy of what we wish things would be or what we felt like we deserved.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's so hard when you're hurt by someone. You're
especially
feeling
a parent.
The hurt. You're feeling the hurt. So we have to get over the hurt. We can't walk around hurt all the time. Then we've got this mountain to climb, this mountain of forgiveness. And it's really hard. But I'll tell you what's harder is to hold a resentment or bitterness, and then we see it impact every area of our life. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come right back. 1-800-229-3000.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met. connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, June 25th through the 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and as I said, Dr. Jill Hubbard is with us, and Dr. Alice Benton, both very wise women that I respect greatly and always love getting to do this program with you guys. And right now, I want to talk with Susie. She's calling from Cincinnati, Ohio, and she listens to us on Sirius XM satellite radio, and it's always available to you guys. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's on channel 131. One of the easiest things you can do to listen to us is get the app or just subscribe to the podcast. You'll always have it. All right. Well, Susie, how are you today, and how could we help you?
Well, I'm good. I have a situation, and I'll be very brief because I'd like to get to hear what you have to say about it.
Okay.
We have a son that moved in with us about 6 years ago. He's in his 40s. And he has 4 children from 3 different women. And just recently, his oldest son, he invited him to move into our home. And without my knowledge of it, I wasn't even told that it was going to happen. My husband explained to me that he thought it was a good idea, but as soon as we finished that conversation, and I had told him it wasn't a good idea, they pulled their truck up and moved his stuff into my spare room. And I'm trying to find some grace here to... how do I, right now, my inclination is just to walk out. I've been married to my husband for 20-something years. I'm 71 years old, and my husband is just he just enables his older son and doesn't hold him accountable for anything, and I don't agree with it. My husband and I are at odds. I've turn this over to the Lord, but yet I'm having a hard time leaving it there.
Okay, so I think we've got enough here.
Well, can I just clarify?
Yeah, jump in, Jim.
Is this, this is his son and this is second marriage for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
His son and his grandson that you've been in relationship with for 27 years. Okay.
And Susie, is your stepson engaged in anything illicit or toxic or even just unhealthy in your home?
Well, he's only been there for about 4 weeks now.
That's the grandson.
What about your stepson?
The one for 6 years that's been there.
He has been, he's an alcoholic. I know that he smokes pot, but my husband won't believe that. He basically, those are his 2 vices. And I think those keep him. He recently left his job that he'd worked at. My husband actually got him the job there twice, and he was fired once for alcohol drinking on the job.
So, Susie,
okay, hold on. We want to give you some help here.
I'm worried that you're trying to find more grace in a situation where enabling is reigning the day? Why are you trying to find more grace for this?
Because I don't want to leave my husband. I don't want to leave my marriage, and that's where I'm at right now.
And
that's where I am.
And I think those are the only two options you see. Either you leave or you tolerate.
When you said I don't want to leave my husband, I know there are a lot of reasons for that. Now, when you say I don't want to leave my marriage, you don't have much of a marriage here. If he's doing these things, and I'm sure this is probably tip of the iceberg, I'm going to take you down a path, and then I'll let Jill save you from going down that path if needed. Okay? So here it is.
Or Alice.
So you would have to come to a place where you'd say, okay, at my age, I've got, I don't know, maybe 30 years left before I die. So I want those to be right. And if I let this happen, it's not going to be right. Things are just going to get worse and worse. So I'm going to make a stand that my husband is going to make a decision. It's going to be me, or it's going to be he can decide for those boys. If it's me, the boy in the basement has to develop a plan to get out of the basement in 6 months. And if it's me, the boy in the bedroom has to have a plan in 6 weeks to be out of that bedroom. Now, here's what I think you ought to do. Before you have that conversation, asking him, you decide, is it me or is it them? I really wish that you could confidentially talk to an attorney who would tell you what your rights are. Because here's the thing. If you knew you were going to be okay leaving, then you'd maybe have more resolve to leave. Now, let me tell you why that's important. Because your husband knows you don't want to leave, and he knows you don't want to end the marriage. And if he saw a different resolve, maybe he would respond to you in a different way. That's what we're going for, is him to choose you so you can stay married to him. But you don't want to enable him any more than you want him enabling them. It just isn't going to help. So you've got to come to a place of strength within yourself where you could say to him, if you say them, I'm going to leave, and we're not going to have this marriage, and you're going to be on your own. And hopefully that would turn him back around. So that's what I want you to consider, that path. Jill, tell me what you're thinking.
Okay. Well, Steve, I'm thinking that might be a step down the road when nothing else works.
Yeah.
I have concern. I don't know what you've tried yet, Susie, but I have concern of pitting the kids against her, even though they're grown adult kids, because those kids came first, and it's very hard to be in a position as a biological parent or even as an adoptive parent, right, to not choose your children. There's a whole guilt factor in that. And so I think that I would make sure, Susie, that you express how much you care for his children and how you, and if this is true, they are like your own to the degree that they can be. Because 27 years, it's a long time. This 40-something was young when you met him. But if, regardless of whether they are actually your biological children or not, you see some unhealthiness, and as good and loving parents, you don't want to do something that is going to further their demise or dysfunction or from becoming who God intended them to become. And sometimes good and loving parents get in the way of that process. The things that God uses to discipline us and to guide us towards a better way, sometimes as parents we jump in the way and we say, no, I'll take that bullet for my kid, I'll make it okay. And that's where your husband is stuck. Alice was talking about the enabling. And so I would like to see you say to your husband, let's us get some help together, because we are not on the same page. And it so grieves me that you felt like you couldn't come to me and share with me your thoughts about moving grandson in, and that you didn't want to face my, the possibility of me saying no to that. And I just want you to know that I'm willing to listen to you, but you also have to listen to me, and we have to make a decision that's good for us, right? We have to preserve our relationship and also make a decision that's good for the boys.
Well, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I have done that before.
Okay.
And his response to me was, you just need to be a little more understanding, and you need to understand what they're going through. And I said to him, tell me what they're going through. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't understand what they're going through. And I've become very resentful. I really have, because there's a lack of respect. Mm-hmm. There's a lack of him not having respect for me. I'm talking about the stepson. He's very disrespectful to me when it's just he and I. But when my husband's around, he's just good as gold, and that's all my husband sees, And I've explained to my husband what he has said and the things that he has done toward me. And my husband just said, well, what did you do to make him do that?
Oh,
and at that point,
well,
I'm
here's
just
the thing.
I'm crazy at that point.
Susie, what your husband's doing, everybody loses. Mm-hmm. The boys are enabled to not develop a way to become independent. They're enabled to keep whatever problems they have, addictions, drug usage, marijuana, whatever. And then he's definitely saying to you, I don't really care about your feelings in all these conversations and what he's done. And he's also, he's doing things that make him feel better.
Yeah.
That resolve or absolve some of the guilt he has. But in the long run, he's going to hate what he's doing right now, because these boys are going to get worse, not better, given the way he's handling it. So I really do. Yeah.
Well, when we had that conversation, when we were talking, and he said that, that he and Brian, who is the stepson, said they had a conversation and they felt like this was the best thing at this point in time. And I'm like, well, you didn't even have this conversation with me. This is my home. You didn't. And there's some underlying things, too, there, that the reason I didn't want the grandson in our home, the reason that I want the son out of our home, there's there's stuff that has gone on, and
Well, and he's disrespectful to you. So here's what I think. I'm gonna send you a copy of Take Your Life Back, because I want you to stay on this path of you being the decider. You are entitled to decide with him who's in your home and who's out of your home. And he's taken that away from you, and you need that back. So I like the suggestion where Jill is saying, let's get some help. But I also think that he's not going to do that he's already seen you suggest that or ask for that. He needs to see a different level of resolve within you for something good to happen here. And I'm really, really sorry for what you're going through. Wow. Mm-hmm. So if you're a man and you're hearing this, don't be like that. It's just that simple. If you're a woman and you're also in this situation, you're doing what it says in Proverbs 10:10. You're winking at wrong, but you're really causing huge, bigger problems.
Well,
Alice, you have a thought?
Well, we parents can really be pulled into some unhealthy behavior towards our kids, driven out of our guilt, because we've made mistakes and we expose them to problems in our marriage and just a multitude of things. But when our motivation is guilt, the result is always unhealthy in the long run if we keep that up. And with your good advice, Steve, about bringing an ultimatum into the relationship, sometimes we need a period of augmenting separation to be able to do that. So stepping away, taking more time away, being out of the house for a period of time to build up the muscle to be able to then make that bold statement and requiring a decision of our spouse.
Sometimes when we're faced with a man with this mentality and he's picking his kids and all this over the wife, about 3 weeks in the house alone with them and not having his wife there, he comes to discover it's a really sad life. He's alone. He feels lonely. He starts to see how bad the kids are. The place is a mess. He has to make his own food. All this stuff.
Maybe she needs to visit a relative for a while.
Maybe so. Yeah. We'll be back right after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop can be a trip to the Sexual Addiction Emergency Room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online May 1st. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Oh my goodness, it's complicated. It's complex, all these different issues, but what a sad thing when one spouse chooses children over the other, and it really brings out what's been there a long time, and that's just a lack of empathy, compassion, concern for your spouse. And so sometimes you have to kind of turn up the volume a little bit there. Let's go to Alina, Atlanta, Georgia. New listener. How are you there, Alina? How's it going? What's going on in your life today?
My life is, as of right now, feels like it's shattered into pieces because
What happened?
I found out that my husband has been, he's a sex addict. God led me to find a phone that was secret. And mind you, this is not the first time I've caught him in an affair type situation.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I caught him in an affair in 2010 that I thought was emotional. 3 years later, the woman came to my door saying that they were together that whole time, even though he said he had changed. So we separated for a short time, and we went through an intensive marriage counseling thing, and he said that he wanted to work on it. He was afraid of losing me, and so I believed him. 3 years later, he started acting funny. I couldn't get any evidence, so I had him take a lie detector test. He passed, so I had to leave it alone because I promised that I would if he passed. I now find out 5 years later that that whole time, basically from the time he met me, he has been with multiple women and had escalated it to a point of prostitution. And
so sorry.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. He's not home, and actually, I caught him in the hotel room on Sunday with another woman.
Okay.
Even though I kicked him out because because of the whole situation. And I know addiction is something that's almost compulsory, but at the same time, it's like, do I now that all of it's been exposed, do I support him in getting help or do I leave?
Alina, do you have children?
No children, but we have, and this is where I'm going to get emotional. We don't have any children, but we were about to do. We have had, we've had issues having children, so we started the IVF process, and we have 8 embryos that we were supposed to transfer. I was getting started to do the transfer part, and got exposed and all before that happened, and I think that's where a lot of my pain is coming from, because I was expected to be a mom.
Yeah.
And now
okay.
I don't know.
Well, I am just deeply hurting for you. I can't believe here you are on the verge of children. You've given him chances, but 10 years of this. Now, how old are you, and how old is he?
I'm 36 and he's 39.
Okay.
We've been married for 13 years.
Wow. So, when you found him in the hotel room, what was his response after that?
He said that he has a problem and that he's trying to get help, and he can't change overnight.
Actually, he can change overnight. That is not true. Here's what I mean by that. We have a lot of people that go to Every Man's Battle, and they're looking at stuff in the airport, magazines on the way. And they literally, in a day, change. They're not complete, but they change direction. And they never look at any pornography again. They never lust. They are clean. One guy just said, 35 years I've been clean and pure. So he can change. If I was there and he'd said that, I'd say, oh, yeah, you can. But you're going to have to get help. You can change direction, and you can end up at a place where you're never, ever cheating on your wife. But right now, given what he's saying and his pattern, what he's done, unless he gets help immediately and does what you require him to do, there is not going to be hope with just giving him another chance. Jill, what are you thinking here?
And Steve, you're right. There's no weaning off of sexual addiction. And that's what they'll want you to think. Well, I'm cutting back, or no, you have to do something very radical, like surgery. You have to cut it out like cancer. And that's what our program helps men do. I would, give him that opportunity as a last-ditch hope, really, for this relationship. But his pattern, Alina, this is such a painful pattern, and you've given him chance after chance after chance. And he's now just saying, I'm not going to change overnight, and yeah, I'm on my way to get help when he's in a hotel room. Those are just words. Those are just words.
So, Lena, when you ask, should you support his recovery, I want to take the word support out. What I want you to do first is protect yourself, and you have to pursue legal protection because your husband is completely untrustworthy. Protect yourself first, and then observe what he does about seeking treatment. And if he puts in a minimum of 6 months of daily meetings, weekly individual therapy, and he gives you feedback, and you get feedback from the men he's involved with, then you might consider, should I then support, should I then participate? But he would need to show you a track record of turning everything around.
Yep.
It's got to be very different this time.
Pretty amazing. Most men, when they get caught, they just break and they're willing to do whatever it takes. Not him.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the 8 books in the Arterburn Wellness series, including Understanding and Loving a Person with Attention Deficit Disorder and Understanding and Loving a Person with Sexual Addiction. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. And just, Jill, why don't you finish up here with Elena and just share a couple of things that we've been talking about here at the break.
Well, Elena, our heart just so goes out to you. And I think what Alice was saying about really needing to see a track record of your husband finally saying, okay, I give up. I can't do it my way. I'm willing to submit to whatever process. I think that's where you wait and see, and that's the hope. And I know your heart is breaking, and I know you want to have children. I don't want to see your heart break more. And to bring a child into this situation, I think would end up being so hurtful to you. It would tie you to him forever, and you have to see what's going to happen to the marriage. He's either going to buckle down and do this, or you're going to see his true character.
And we're worried that will be your vulnerability, as it would be for any of us, that you'll be drawn back to forgive and forget because you want to have a child and you've done all this work in preparation. I'm sure there's love there still too. We're so concerned that he passed the lie detector test, because that is a sign for us of how deep the deception and the addiction is in him. Now, there's still the possibility of change because we've seen hopeless situations turn around. But they are few and far between, the ones that come back from that level of addiction.
Yeah. All right. I hope that that's helpful, and I'm going to send you Worthy of Her Trust, and I hope that will be a big help to you. Wow, that is really, really tough. And, Jesus saw these situations, and he said, okay, when this kind of unfaithfulness happens, maybe divorce is the only solution, and he says that's okay in those situations. But man, I tell you, to trust that guy. Well, it's the opposite of Larry Sonnenberg. You can trust Larry with anything you give him. He'll do it, and he'll do it right. Larry, tell us what you're thinking today.
I was thinking after a call like that, it feels funny asking people for financial support, except if you think about it, it's exactly why we need financial support.
Exactly, yeah.
And I want to just share, we shared yesterday, we have a matching challenge. We had a group of New Life financial partners came together on Saturday, and they pulled their finances, and they said, we're giving you $459,000, but there's a catch. You got to go get it matched. Until people give their gifts, the money's untouchable. So as you give, if you give $50 today, we can pull $50 out of that, and New Life ends up with $100. It's a dollar for dollar thing. And it's the thing that makes it really special is it helps provide help for hurting people. Like the guy who called New Life and depressed. He was depressed. He was needing help. He was having suicidal thoughts. But because of your generous donations, we can keep our program on the air so somebody knows who to call, what to do. We can keep our ministry service representatives at the call center employed, handling these calls, giving people resources, following up, checking on them. It's why we need your support. And this matching gift it's a gift. It's an incredible gift. But we can't really access it unless you help us. So. Yeah.
Please pray about it, think about it, and if you benefit from the program and we're benefiting other people, please help us, and we will send you the Creatures of Habit, a little book, our way of saying thank you. But the real benefit of giving is that we can share testimonies, we can show you the people that have been transformed through New Life and through your support. Larry, anything else you want to add?
As you consider giving to New Life, would you please also consider, in addition to a gift or instead of an individual gift, joining Club New Life? That's really an important thing for us. This ongoing monthly support that we can depend upon month after month. And it's just $30 a month. We've got 8 books we'll send you, Understanding and Loving the Arterburn Wellness Series. It's a fabulous gift. It's a fabulous program, a lot of benefits. And it's another way to help New Life. So thank you, everybody who has been giving. God bless you.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. That is the number. All right. Let's go to Cheryl. She's calling from Orlando, Florida, WTLN. Great station there. Hello, Cheryl. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Yes.
I'm calling because I've had a very long history with a very bad history with my biological mom. Finally, I realized that the reason why we never could bond or never have a good daughter-mother relationship is because she is a narcissist. And it took me about 50 years to figure out why I was always getting blamed for things, why she never nurtured me, why she was always so self-absorbed in her own self. And throughout 50 years of my life, I really suffered not realizing why and always taking the blame for everything she blamed me for. And there were times where I would try to reach out to her and waiting for forgiveness from her, but the forgiveness never came from her.
Okay.
So I finally realized, this is the way she is. This is the way she is, and I just have to accept it that way. And as I got older, and I started learning about different personalities and the reasons why people are the way they are, I finally figured out she's very self-absorbed, and she just exists in her own world, and nothing beyond her matters.
Okay, so now you got all that
love.
figured out. You've got that figured out, but you called us for some help. What is it that you're wanting us to help you with?
I want to honor her the way God wants me to honor her, and I have a hard time honoring her.
Well, wait a second.
I always get shut down.
Well, wait a second. How do you think God wants you to honor her?
God wants me to honor her because the Bible says honor your mother and your father and forgive. And I have
so what do you think
her.
that means? What you think honoring her means forgiving her, right?
Well, I forgive her. But she shuts me down, and I want to reach out, and I want to be part. I want her to be part of my life, but she's just not there.
Okay, so here's the deal. Forgiving her does not honor her. It honors you. Not forgiving her doesn't hurt her one bit. It hurts you. So that's not an honor to her to forgive her, and it's not an honor to honor the unhonorable, right? Here's what I would say. I would say what God would want you to do with your mom is to accept her as a really troubled, broken woman. You accept it. Now, when you accept her that way, it's a little bit easier to forgive because she doesn't really know what she's doing. It's not like she wakes up in the morning and I'm going to be a horrible person to my daughter. It's in there. But how you honor her, and I think you might already be doing this, Cheryl, is you go and become a woman that your mother could never help you become because she doesn't have it in her.
And I've been that woman.
Okay, so that is how you honor a dishonorable parent, is you go out and become an honorable person, and that brings honor to them without you having to honor whatever horrible thing they're guilty of. Does that make sense to you?
Right.
So you have honored her already.
Agree.
What?
Yes. It does make sense, to a certain degree. I tried to reach out to her just recently again, and she just shut me off because her husband molested me when I was 11 years old. And I forgave him, and I moved on with my life, but she blames me to this
Well, let me
So
share something
Steve,
with
I
you.
think we need to send her my book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers, because there's a whole chapter in there that talks about how do you honor the dishonorable parent.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what you're saying, a lot of that is in the book, but it's honoring the role of the parent, but you don't honor the dishonorable behavior. And I think, Cheryl, you're halfway there in terms of accepting who your mom is. It's like you see who she is, but you're still hoping to somehow create the situation, the mother-daughter situation that you've always wanted.
And let me ask you this, Cheryl. You should really you should really set a number of how many times you're going to reach out to her and she's not going to respond before you quit reaching out to her hoping she would respond. In fact, I think you ought to quit right now.
Yeah.
I would quit right now because actually when you quit responding to her, it increases the chance that she might even reach out to you. But it hasn't worked. I don't think you ought to do it anymore. Alice, what are you thinking there?
Cheryl, I hope that my daughter becomes a woman of such noble character like you are. You are a good and lovely daughter, and it is tragic that your mother, barring a miracle, will never be the mother that you need and you deserve.
She's not. But you know what? I have to say that God made me 100% different than she. I am the most nurturing and loving mother.
We can tell. We can tell.
We'll be back after this.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., July 23rd to the 25th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly. and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Really hope and pray that something we've said could mean something to you. And a lot of what we've said here is please don't enable horrible behavior. Please don't honor the dishonorable behavior of a parent. If you want to clean up your act, like we've suggested some folks do here, Every Man's Battle is May the 1st. It's online, and you can access that, and we encourage you to go. Now, let's go. We've got a final caller here. And so how about we go and talk with Lisa from Walla Walla, Washington. Hi, Lisa. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
What's going on?
So I am currently going through divorce. It's going on 2 years now from an abusive, emotionally, verbally abusive marriage of over 20 years. And I have 4 children, and the oldest left before she was 18 because she couldn't handle the abuse. The next child came to me and said, I'm going to leave because I can't handle it. And I had always said that I was going to wait until the kids were grown because our church was like so against divorce, and I just felt like, you know, people are looked so down on for that. And I just, for so many years, I carried the guilt like this was my fault. He treated me to believe that everything that I did was my fault. So, like, he was controlling and manipulative and narcissistic, all of it. So, right now I'm dealing with some teens that are hurting really bad. So, I still have 3 teens at home. One of them is 19. He's a senior this year. And so he's been exempt by the judge. He doesn't have to go for visitation. But the younger 2 are being required to go by the court system for visitation with their father. They don't want to go, and they don't want to be around him. And yet what I'm seeing happening is when they're coming home, they're disrespectful to me, and they're lashing out, and they're angry, and I'm finding out that their father is talking bad about me the whole time he's over there.
Hold on.
And
Let
so
me
I'm
ask you a question. We want to help you here. We want to help you here, and I think we have the picture. We want to help you. What does your attorney say about the children being court ordered to be with the father, even though they're saying to you they don't want to go, and once they go, they're really very, very different? What does your attorney say about that?
She's not saying anything about it. In fact, I'm having the school counselor calling me. I'm having the teachers calling me. They're all
hold on a
out.
second.
They're saying,
Hold on a second.
We're worried about the kids.
I think we've got the problem here. Then.
Right.
If your attorney isn't talking to you about the one thing that matters the most to you in court, you have the wrong attorney. Your attorney should be calling Child Protect. Okay, then you go to some people in the church, or you look at what resources are there for people that don't have the money, and you get a different attorney. You call Child Protective Services or some other agency there, and you say, my kids are in a horrible situation. I need some people to intervene for me. Jill, you have a thought.
Okay, so how old are the younger 2?
The younger 2, Emma is 16 and Colin is 14.
Okay. I don't know what it is in your... In California, at 14 years of age, the children can choose whether they're court...
They're not allowed...
ordered or not.
Yeah, they're not allowed to here.
Okay. The thing is, with the kids coming back and being disruptive, they're doing that because of the transition. That is really hard on kids, and if dad is bombarding them with negative verbiage, that's why you're seeing the acting out. I think perhaps they need a child advocate, and that can be appointed through the courts. So they need somebody who's going to just advocate for them, and they need to voice strongly that they don't want to be there.
Lisa, they also need to see their mother pursuing her own power and strength through the help that you need to get. I hear such powerlessness in your voice, and it's completely understandable that you feel that way.
Right.
I don't think you understand how much power you truly have in this situation. Whether it's even
because
Go ahead.
He just trampled on me. He just trampled on me for so many years and made me feel like I was completely worthless and no good.
And he lied to you. He lied to you to keep you under his thumb.
But right now, see, he's not the issue. The issue is a judge that is allowing kids to be trampled on. And so you know, when anybody in my family has ever gotten in trouble or needed help, my wife is a private investigator looking for every resource possible. And that's what you have to do. We've talked about it here many times, the fatal excuse. And the fatal excuse that you're using is, I don't have any money. Listen, let that be the motivator to get in front of the judge, to get a child advocate in front of the county or the city or the state will appoint
legal
a child advocate. There's a whole organization that do that. And
we had
what
a
you
guardian ad litem.
Yeah, and so what happened?
She completely sided with the husband, and it was even brought up in the court that she took his side, and they're actually all baffled. My attorney was baffled.
Lisa, you have to get strong enough to put up a holy stink where you're knocking down doors for your children's sake, but you're also taking over authority again in your own home, because I think your kids run over you as well, and probably with the guilt you feel, and the remorse you feel.
Well, and I really believe in this system that brings in the child advocate. But I got to tell you something. Many times they are absolutely wrong. They can be persuaded one way or the other. And so you have to say, we need another one. We need somebody else to look at this, because this is not what I think is happening over there. I don't know why it was reported this way. So here's the word for you. It's perseverance. Your kids need you to persevere. And you need to show them that a person who gets tossed and turned in insecurity and all can turn that around. And what an example that would be for them. Be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And Lisa, family law is the most unpredictable. And I think your focus is like what we said. It has to shift from, my husband's a bad guy. They don't really care. They don't care about the emotional issues. I think you have to go into mama bear mode.
Yeah.
With your kids and fight for them.
So a lot of times the motive is, in their mind, very good. They want families to stay together. They want kids to have access to their father. And sometimes the overriding headline misses a whole lot of details that would say, this is the exception. But every time they make the exception, they're putting their career on the line, because most of these organizations, the number one goal is keep that family together, bring everybody, and it's just difficult.
And both parents in the middle of a divorce are going to talk bad about the other. So they have to weed through all of that to see, okay, is there truly harm here for the kids?
Yeah, that's right. Well, we are out of time, but we're not out of resources for you. If you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, we'll try to help you find whatever resource you need. There are counselors all over. And then we've got these great intensives, Intimacy in Marriage in Washington, D.C. in July, in person. And Restore is going to be in Dallas, in person, June 25th. But on May the 1st, Every Man's Battle is still online. You can access it, and it literally, as we said before, you could change your life in a day. You could be headed one way, and the next day, totally different direction. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. It's also the number, if you can support us, matching gifts there, and for you, Creatures of Habit.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll